Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruach double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, that rule well, and shalom to Yakim, pushing this word around the globe with faith and with truth and in sincerity. This is the brother Caleb from the GMS London Forecasters Camp. As always, I like to say we are the real Hebrew Israelites, the real Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that do look like the other nations because Israel has been scattered amongst all people throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible who was named Jacob and then was later named Israel, and you too are an Israelite no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. Okay, so I'm here with another lesson. This is from The Independent. This is published 4 days ago, but it's a very interesting article and very pertinent to the times that we're in. So it says, it's from The Independent, it says, growing numbers of women are turning to sex work as COVID crisis pushes them into desperate poverty. It says, exclusive, cruel austerity measures are pushing us into prostitution and trapping us in it, says campaigner. So you got some, Edomite here with some signs saying sex work is work. It says the English Collective of Prostitutes, a leading campaign group which supports the decriminalisation of prostitution, said hundreds of teaching assistants, waitresses, cleaners and beauticians had made inquiries about starting sex work for the first time since the COVID emergency hit in spring. Now these are all people who would seem like fine, upstanding feminist women in this world's eyes, your teaching assistants, your waitresses, your cleaners, and your beauticians and so on and so forth. But it's being revealed that they're turning to prostitution, which in all reality they've been committing whoredom anyway, but up until now they've been able to get away with it without any consequences. Now they're faced in a dire situation where they're having to put their bodies to work for money, which is the ultimate irony, because Esau promised them through feminism, peace and safety and security and all this kind of shit. Now it's coming back round to bite them on the ass. The scriptures say, who will pity a charmer who gets bitten by a serpent? Who will pity that person? So I've got no pity for these women here. But let's read this article. It says, increasing numbers of women are turning to sex work for the first time as the pandemic pushes them into desperate poverty, campaigners warned. Leading organizations which support sex workers said that there has been a substantial rise in women doing sex work for the first time due to being overrepresented in sectors hit hardest by the coronavirus crisis. Now, when they say overrepresented in sectors, it means you've got too many people for too few jobs. Like, let's say everybody was training to become an IT assistant. Let's just say everybody in the world was training to do that one job. Well, there's only so many IT technician or whatever jobs going. So there's going to come a point where you're going to have over-representation in that part of the workforce sector. And that's exactly what's happening here, where there's a lot of people, a lot of women going for a sector which is already overpopulated, so therefore they're not finding any work, which is, ultimate irony, as I said. It says the English Collective of Prostitutes, a leading campaign group which supports the decriminalisation of prostitution, said hundreds of teaching assistants, waitresses, cleaners and beauticians had made inquiries about starting sex work for the first time since the COVID emergency hit in spring. Meanwhile, a study by the organisation shared exclusively with the Independent found sex workers are unable to feed themselves or their children and are being pushed into destitution and homelessness during the public health crisis. A survey of 222 female sex workers found almost 2/3, and I ain't that a sweet number, almost 2/3 were struggling to afford to eat and were in need of emergency food vouchers, while 3 in 10 were finding it difficult to access benefits from the government. Samantha, A sex worker who works in South London told The Independent, "Our income has been completely cut off. You have to beg and borrow. We are on the floor. We've had to go to our regulars and say, 'Can you lend us money, please? I'm in trouble.' We're not magicians." So when they say they're regulars, they're meaning they're regular clients, sex clients, I suppose. And begging them to borrow money. And you know what in this country is like? If you can't pay a bill, they'll give you a bigger one. 15 years ago, you could make money in this industry, but now we can just about get by. People now think we are shitting diamonds. Nothing could be further from the truth. We are scraping, getting by. We were scraping and getting by before COVID. Now we're in debt. Our income has been completely. Yeah, I've read that one. The 42-year-old has been doing sex work on and off for more than 2 decades. I guess that's between the times when she wanted to pretend to be a fine, upstanding housewife, or woman. So when she's with a man who she thinks she can wrap around her finger, she's not a sex worker. But I guess when she breaks up with that dude, she goes right back, reverts to form, and starts working again. Because it says the 42-year-old had been doing sex work on and off. Well, either you're doing sex work or you're not. You coming or you're going. The scriptures say a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. How much more woman? Let's just read this. It says the 42-year-old who had been doing sex work on and off for more than 2 decades said she was struggling to afford to buy food and had resorted to vouchers. She said she knew many sex workers who had been made homeless during the pandemic. She has been inundated with increasing numbers of women wanting to do sex work for the first time ringing her for work, she said. Samantha added, "There are so many more women ringing for work. A lot of people that haven't ever done it before." I guess they take to it like a duck to water, don't they? For safety reasons, I don't want to work with someone who has no experience and doesn't know the dangers or pitfalls. Well, yeah, now you've also got the competition of younger, better-looking women coming into the industry that you once had your feet under the table in. So that's another reason why you old washed-up women ain't getting no work. This is too funny. She explained that the flat she worked in had been shut during the first national lockdown, which was declared when coronavirus hit in spring, and the second lockdown during November. Samantha called for sex work to be decriminalised, explaining that women break the law to work together in groups, which says reduces the risk of abuse and attacks. "We share the space in case a woman cries out or someone is alarming or aggressive," she adds. "We spend our days making people happy, but we get judged by everyone. We have a lot of vulnerable clients who can't create bonds in real life." Yeah, thanks, Cecil. "But they are human. We're not lawbreakers. It is the law that criminalizes us. We have to be recognized for who we are. We are normal people. We pay council tax. We are someone's neighbors. We are not aliens with 2 heads." Samantha said she would not tell the police if she was attacked by a man buying sex because she fears she would be criminalized as a result. While it is not illegal for individuals to buy or sell sex in the UK, soliciting, working on the street, sex workers banding together as a group, and prostitutes advertising themselves is illegal. Nikki Adams, a spokesperson for the English Collective of Prostitutes, said there's been a substantial surge in women calling to inquire about doing sex work for the first time, or going back into it after having left for years during the COVID crisis. Like a dog that returns to its own vomit, huh? She added the pandemic has been devastating for sex workers. Women's income has dropped off completely. We have helped hundreds of sex workers in need of emergency food with vouchers and also helped them with benefits. This is the government saying they are interested in finding routes out of prostitution, but their own cruel austerity measures are pushing us into prostitution and trapping us in it. The government hasn't provided any tailored support. We are disadvantaged because we have been locked out from the government support packages. Most sex workers are mothers, but people don't know that. Oh, are you stupid? Are you serious? Of course, a lot of these sex workers are mothers, because if they're banging all these clients, I mean, it's just the law of averages that you're going to end up getting pregnant, right? So I don't know where she's coming from with that. Anyway, we are disadvantaged because we have been locked out from government support packages. Most sex workers are mothers, but people don't know that. No, they do know that. When you have a kid, your options of finding a job that pays enough to cover childcare are limited. But politicians have judgmental, moralistic, and contemptuous attitudes to sex workers. No, the government is trying to push people into becoming sex workers, but unfortunately, a lot of the women who are sex workers aren't actually getting paid for it, because a lot of these so-called sex workers are just regular women who are committing the act of whoredom. That might go over a lot of people's heads, what I just said there, but I'll say it again. A lot of these sex workers are no different to your average woman living down the street or across the road, because a lot of these women are committing whoredom. So therefore, they're just as bad as prostitutes, except they're not walking around calling themselves sex workers or prostitutes, but they're committing the same wicked acts. So let's keep going. It says, Mr. Adams noted that many women combine sex work with badly paid precarious jobs with 0 hours contracts, adding that it may be careers, nurses. Adding they may be careers, nurses, teaching assistants, cleaners, waitresses, or working in a nail bar. What you really women should have been doing is taking care of your man and being loyal to the one man who took your virginity, because that is your husband according to the law of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the law of the Bible. Continuing on, it says, she argued violence and stalking of sex workers they support has increased during the crisis as men take advantage of desperate women. Heightened police attention in the wake of the pandemic and new lockdown rules mean sex workers are now under far greater scrutiny from the police, she added. Clients take advantage of this, Miss Adams said. Sex workers are working in riskier situations. The safety mechanisms that they had before, they can't implement. The criminalization already put women in a vulnerable situation. By working with other women, you are risking arrest. But men know it is an even more hostile environment for sex workers. She argued the combination of the layers of criminalization, stigma, and illegality, and not receiving emergency support from the government has left sex workers destitute, adding that women are pushed into choosing between risking being exposed to the coronavirus by working through the pandemic and seeing their children go hungry. Well, we're one step closer to the end because the scriptures prophesied of this. Let's get some scriptures. Start with Genesis 3. Yeah, Genesis 3. I'm going to read Genesis 3 from on down, yeah? And it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have the Most High said, ye shall not eat of the tree of every tree of the garden, Slakia. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Now the woman found that very appealing. She wanted to be as Adam. She wanted to be as a man, because you got the little G there, you know. So therefore she saw the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil as something that would give her a leg up. So the woman, Eve, wanted this. So it says, verse 6, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes. Now this isn't talking about a fruit, a physical apple. It's talking about the knowledge of good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Most High, Yahweh, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh power amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahweh called unto Adam and said, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Yahweh Power said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And Yahweh Power said unto the serpent, which was the wicked, which wasn't a literal snake, it was a man with the serpentine sort of deceitful countenance about him, meaning this is the wicked. This was Esau before they were known as the Edomites, yeah, the wicked. And the Most High said unto the serpent, that because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between the woman and between thy seed and her seed. Now this was fulfilled in the Genesis 25 at the birth of Jacob and Esau. And it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now here's the point. Genesis 3:16. And unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So the woman is supposed to be under her husband, yeah? And a woman's only allowed to have one husband, whereas a man is allowed to have multiple wives. But because the women wanted to be like Adam and have multiple husbands, well, guess what? This is exactly why this situation has come upon them. Because they wanted to be rebellious, and the scriptures say that rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft. So these women have to pay for their rebellious nature. So let's get some precepts. Yeah, gonna hit Isaiah 32 and verse 9. So this is Isaiah 32 verse 9. It says, Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Now you women have been at ease in Esau's society. You've been at one with it. You've joined forces with the devil, with the physical representation of Satan on this earth. And you've lived good in this society. And you've eaten all the delicacies and enjoyed all the benefits of this society. Well, guess what? Now the society's going down. You have to drink of the cup of the wrath, of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is being poured out without mixture. It's this cup of indignation. You got to drink of that too, because you were wicked in this society. And as long as this society was doing well, you thought you were doing well. Well, guess what? Now the rug's been torn out from underneath your feet. Now you're beginning to realize, oh shit, I'm in a precarious situation now. And now you're starting to think, oh shit, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Whereas before, you didn't give a fuck, man. You'd get with a man and drop him like a bad habit, drop him like a hot potato or a hot rock without even thinking twice, because you knew you could monkey swing to the next man, and then the next man, and the next man. Well, guess what? Them days are done. Them flipping Little Mix style glory days are over for you women, man. Over with a capital O-V-E-R. Says, rise up, Isaiah 32:9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. You've been careless in this world. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, and the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, and for the fruitful vine. You're going to lament for them teats, and you ain't going to get them. Just reading a bit forward here. Yeah, that's all I want to get on that. What do I want to jump to now? Micah 7 and 10. So Micah 7:10, it says, Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, Where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. Now that's one of my favorite scriptures in the whole Bible, because there's a lot of women who are going to get trodden down as the mire of the streets, and rightfully so. Let's go to Isaiah 4:1. Payback's a bitch. And it says, And in that day several women shall take hold of one man. Now that number there, 7, just represents completion. So that's going to be a complete number for a man of the elect. For one man, it might be, his complete number might be 5. For another man, his complete number might be 500. You just don't know. But it means a complete number of women is going to take hold of one man in that day. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Now in this world, women expect you to buy them things. You know, they want you to take them out, buy them dinner, buy them nice clothes. They expect you to take care of them, essentially. Well, that's all going to be flipped on its head, because there's going to come a time when these women are going to realize that they've got no real value. So therefore, they're going to have to work to please a man of the elect. And in doing so, they're going to have to learn how to take care of themselves, to wipe their own noses and to wipe their own backsides, you know, without having a man, you know, basically providing for them. It's not going to be a case of us providing for them. They're going to be more trying to provide for us, because they're going to want to be with us. And, you know, no man wants to carry around dead weight, especially in the tribulation that's coming. So therefore, these women are going to be working to please the man so that she can stay with him. And they're going to be saying this. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread, meaning they're going to make their own food. And we will wear our own apparel, meaning they're going to make their own clothes. Only, this is the thing they're asking, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And he goes on to say, In that day shall the branch of Yahweh be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. You know, those that are escaped of Israel are going to be the 144,000 and the 1/3, which make up the great multitude of the hopeful elect that will be delivered from the coming tribulation, yeah, and the said perils. So continuing on in verse 3, it says, And it shall come, I've read that one. No, I haven't. Verse 3, And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. Lord willing, me be of that number. And when the Lord shall have washed away the filth, point right there, Isaiah 4:4, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. And Yahweh will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon her assemblies a cloud of smoke by day, and a shining of a flaming fire by night, and upon all the glory shall be a defense. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and a covert from the storm and from the rain. So basically, you know, there's going to come a point where the Most High is going to purge away the filth from the daughters of Zion. And Lord willing, in the kingdom, we're going to be all righteous ourselves. We'll have our righteous bodies, and we'll have our righteous women in order, in a perfect order. But for now, a lot of you women are going to have to go through a lot of hell and a lot of hardships for the wickedness that you've done. The scriptures say all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. The scriptures also say a wicked woman is a portion given unto a wicked man. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So if you've got these wicked women who want to try and get with a righteous man, well, for a lot of them, it's going to be like trying to ice skate uphill. It ain't going to work. But there'll be some that do make it, because obviously there are going to be women that do make it. But yeah, it's not looking good for you women right now, man. Particularly you women who have been rebellious and wanton and feminists and supporting abortion and supporting sodomy and supporting every abominable thing under the sun, and not coming back to your power, which is Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You've been getting tattoos, you've been running around from this man to this man to this man, you've been having your abortions, you've been not keeping your foot at home. You've basically especially the Southern Kingdom women, you've abandoned your men in this captivity. You've left us out here, and you've ran off with the enemy. Just yesterday I was walking down the road. Was it yesterday or was it Saturday? I can't remember. Well, one of the days just gone by, I was walking down the road and I was forced to walk behind some Jake woman who was hand in hands with the enemy, hands in hands with Esau, and she was acting all like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, and she was completely in order. She was holding his hand and she was acting like little Miss Sugar and Spice and all things nice, like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. But I was just looking at her, I thought, you know what? You thought you made it by abandoning your man and joining forces with the enemy. Well, guess what? If you join forces with the enemy, you're going to die with the enemy. Now, you've got to understand that there are Israelites out there who do look like Edomites, but they're really Israelites. But you can tell through the Spirit. The Spirit's beareth witness that we are the children of Israel. And I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident that that guy that she was walking with was a straight up Edomite. But it's just these little things that vex you in this world, because you see the wicked prospering. But the scriptures do say, be not envious of the wicked, because you don't know what their end shall be. Well, you do know what their end shall be according to prophecy. So, we can't envy these things, but it's just at the same time, a lot of women are suffering now. And another thing I've noticed as well is like a lot of women are turning to doing OnlyFans accounts to try and get money from doing that. They think they can sit in their bedroom twerking their ass, and you got guys out there who will pay them money to watch women sitting in their flipping dingy ass bedrooms spinning on stripper poles in their bedrooms, because obviously the strip clubs and everything like that is shut down, so all those strippers aren't making no money from working in a club, so they erect them flipping metal poles in their bedroom. And I'm thinking, it just looks really weak. You see these Instagram, what do they call them, THOTs, thoughts. You see them doing this stuff, and it's laughable, man. And it's laughable because we know the prophecies. We know what this is all leading to. As I said, Isaiah 4:1, Micah chapter 7 verse 10. This is what this is all leading to. So, that's just a quick lesson on that subject. With that, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone that rule well. And shalom for now. But I will say one more thing. The funniest thing about all of this is that a lot of these women who didn't consider themselves as being prostitutes, they thought they were just normal, everyday, modern day women. They're going to look, they're having to take a good, long, hard look in the mirror now. And they're having to realize, hang on a minute, I have been a bit of a loose woman. I've been a loose cannon. I'm desperate for money. Why don't I just start making money from flipping, shaking my ass with a webcam, and I can make money. And a lot of these women are getting desperate now, so they're turning to that stuff. So it's really revealing what they really were from the start. They had no integrity. They're all whores from the start. But if you try to tell them that they're a whore, oh, you're sexist and no, and all this kind of shit, and then you have some stupid ass simpleton white knight jumping out of the crowd, flipping, wanting to defend this woman just because you told her the truth. He's ready to fight you because you told the woman what she really was, but he wants to be the white knight and jump out and try and save her. It's laughable, man. But guess what? Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. You want to join hands in hands with Esau? You wanted to be a woman and a feminist in his eyes? You're not really being a woman at all, because the word woman actually means female servant. If you look up the etymology of the word woman, it literally means female servant. So these women aren't actually fulfilling their function. These women are just self-serving, self-centered, vain, airheaded, ignorant, unclean, you just nasty ass women, man. And I'm telling it as it is. This is that. Hey, I can only speak on my own personal experience, but hey, I've got testimonies about this shit. So not gonna go into it right now. But it's just very very funny for me to see the shit hit the fan and for the truth to be made manifest, which is exactly what's the case that's being taking place right now. So once again, women are a pretty bit of a stupid topic anyway, because they're not really important given everything else that's going on in terms of prophecy. Women are kind of like an afterthought, to be honest. Yeah, we do need women, and women are important, but there are many, many major prophecies taking place right now. I mean, you've got this stuff taking place in America with Trump and Biden. You've got the coronavirus shit going down. You've got the vaccine stuff going down. And in the background, you've got these waste women, who aren't really doing anything if they're not in the truth. If they're not in the truth and ain't about the truth, then fuck them, man. There's women who you might have tried to tell the truth and they scoffed at it. And they thought, nah, that will never happen, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? You're starting to see it now in Micah 7:10. And she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said, where is Yahweh thy power? Let me read that, man. Close out on that, man. It's a good bookend to this lesson. Oh, you Micah 7:10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. So with that, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that will well. Shalom to you, Arching, pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and in sincerity. And until the next lesson I do, Lord willing, I'll say Shalom.